guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV once again. We're here for another episode of F1 Legends, and we are talking probably about the greatest legend of them all. To be honest, one of the greatest of them all, definitely for sure. We're talking about Michael Schumacher, 7 times world champion. So, yeah, I'm gonna come to you, brethren. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Greetings to you, good people. I'm very much well honored to be back again for this great show. For the love of the game.
Yeah, and we're here with Connor as well. How are you, mate?
Good, good, good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, man. So ready to get into this.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously we're talking about what got me into Formula One in the first place, Michael Schumacher. Who's we all think is like the greatest legend on them all. Bargav, I sent you the link. I sent you the link, mate. Yeah, it's I want to come to John first. Your first memories with uh Michael Schumacher.
Well, for me, to be honest, of course, in everything that happens, there's a lot of controversy, people, in terms of appreciating you, a lot of people do not tend to appreciate you, but later on when you're gone. And for me, to be honest, I have full praise for him. And as you alluded earlier on, he was the one, whom I'm sure if I say this, he was the one who made a lot of people to fall in love with this sport, myself included, considering, everything that he did. And to be honest, for me, the memory that really, that is in my head is between 2000 and 2004, whereby, he dominated, everything within its path, whereby between those 5 years, of course, it's 4 years, but those 5 seasons, whereby, having, statistically speaking, 56% of his wins were from him, all between that. And of course, we know that it was becoming boring and predictable. But of course, if you're a Ferrari fan, it was very good. But for me, full praise for him. And he was one of, okay, in fact, let me just say he's the one who made me fall in love with this sport and forever changed this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what your earliest memories, Connor?
See, for me, growing up, I live in America, so I hadn't even heard of F1. It's NASCAR over here, which is, I always tell my friends, it's a lot more boring than Formula One. I always tell my friends, if you want to get into watching a racing sport, you got to watch Formula One because it's so much more interesting. You actually have, different types of turns and different. It's completely unpredictable when
Exactly.
when going up head to head against NASCAR. NASCAR is a lot easier. It's a lot more difficult than people think, NASCAR, but I think Formula One is just a special breed of talent. And it's just an amazing thing to watch, and it's shorter as well, which I enjoy because I don't want to watch 250 laps. I'm okay watching 50 to 70 laps. But
Yeah.
I started actually, I picked it up during the quarantine year last year when there was a shortened season. When I really got into it and started watching races. But then I started looking back at the history of the sport, looking back at Ayrton Senna and Prost in their battles, looking back at Schumacher against Häkkinen and Hill, and kind of trying to really find out as much as I can about the sport.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I remember watching it from about 2000 onwards, and that's where I first run into the legend that is Schumacher. Obviously, by that point, he was a 2-time world champion already. And but as a young kid, I liked the color, obviously red. I mean, I supported Arsenal straight away, and like that was sort of the first first reasons I started supporting Schumacher, and obviously once you started seeing him winning so many times, it's when you started. It's when you links not. Bargav, I sent you the link. It's on Twitter. It's on Twitter. I sent you a link. So I mean, the guy, I think F1 you could say was more competitive back then, but I think it's not just down to what he achieved as well. It's that how he achieved it. It's like how he managed to get a team like even Benetton. He joined Benetton in 1992, and it took him 3 years to grow that team into a winning machine. And then he went to Ferrari, and you saw it there gradually. Within 2 years, they're fighting a championship. Within 4 years, they lost the championship, but won the constructors, right? So, and then obviously 2000, they finally achieved what they were trying to aim for in the first place. And he had that special talent of being able to get a group of people to make a great car for him. And you saw two sides of him where you saw the normal, like, hard, strong, aggressive, side of him that he wanted to portray like an impossible person to beat. But then there's another side to him that was like he'd always know the mechanics' names. He'd always know their birthdays. Like he treated everyone like they're equal in a team. So those special qualities, but once you're on track, that all goes out the window.
Yeah, I mean his son's a great representation of his father, because Mick is now driving for Haas and is the same way. I mean, we can even look back. One of the Grand Prix this year, it went viral that he literally, after the Grand Prix was over, went to each and every member of his team, whether it's an engineer or one of the people that helps to change out the tires, everybody, and said thank you to each and every single one, and even had conversations with a couple of them and just talked to them about how they were doing. And when you're a driver, especially if someone of Mick Schumacher's pedigree, having his father be Michael Schumacher, you see sometimes you have the pedigree of a famous person can sometimes be spoiled, and it's nice to see that he seems to be a perfect clone of his father in the way he acts when he's on the paddock and the way he acts towards his team. I think he's also been very blessed with who he has for his race engineer this year at Haas, but I think it also goes it's a two-way street, and how Mick acts now is a direct representation of exactly how his father was when he was in Formula One.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the guy was, I mean, you can see it, like you said, you can see it in his father and such, but the records speak for themselves. I mean, 91 victories, 69 pole positions, 100 odd podiums, and they immediately knew it was sort of that first driver that they knew you could have to now drive flat out, maximum performance all day, every corner, every lap, literally flat out, right? Being able to, and the reason for someone like the best way he'd be able to drive is that not just like drive the car, but be able to do that on a consistent basis for so many laps. He'd be able to pump fastest lap in to be able to create strategy. Because back then there used to be fuel, and he'd be able to create that strategy and make it work. with the pace that he got, be able to go. So to be able to keep up with that, you'd have to be a special driver, because all of a sudden the rate you get over the radio, start to do fastest laps, and it'd be in bang, bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang, right? And then all of a sudden you saw it in 2000 where he was just keeping with Hakkinen and McLaren. The second pit stop, I think it was the second pit stop, came along, and he stayed out longer. And then you saw he was even if there were splits of rain, he was pumping in the fastest laps. And then we saw by the time he got out, he had a massive gap. And though Hakkinen tried to catch up to him, it was impossible. And that's sort of another quality, how he can create strategies for the pace that he's got. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bring up just his career, some of the
statistics.
Yeah, I mean, if you purely, this is the reason that I rate, even as a new Formula One fan, a lot of people, when they just join watching a sport, a lot of times they'll believe that whoever is the best at that time is really the best of all time. And you see nowadays with a lot of new fans thinking City is one of the best teams to ever live, and that's just not true ever. Arsenal's Invincibles team is better than any of these Man City teams that have won anything recently, but I've known since I looked that Schumacher I feel like it's way better than Hamilton, and it's purely because of how he dominated the sport and who he was racing against. I mean, you just look at the names of even past Heikkinen and Hill. You have Montoya, Raikkonen when he was in his youth. Ralph Schumacher, Button. You had Fernando Alonso as well when he was first breaking onto the scene that he had to fight against. Truly as well, all these guys that he had to fight with, even going into the later ends of his career. And the fact that he's able to get 48 wins in 4 years.
Yeah. True.
And it wasn't back then. Back then, they had less races. You only have about 16 races a season, not like the 23 you have now. And yeah, John, you wanted to say something?
Oh yes. Like, I just wanted to second what Connor was just saying. If you look at his history, imagine, leaving a team that was already fighting for championship, which was Benton. Imagine, having won the title and then now going to Ferrari. Yes, Ferrari had okay, well, like, in terms of the name itself was big, but if you take a look at that time, that already it was not fighting for any championship. Imagine humbling yourself, going, okay, like, imagine picturing, someone like a Max, okay, like a Max Verstappen, someone who's already competing, now going to a Haas. And what I love about this is that he was not a person who was short-sighted, because right now I'm sure, with the social media, the power of social media, whereby he would have been slated by many people to say, why are you doing this? Because already the team was not, like, Ferrari was not dominating, but having that attitude, having that humbleness, whereby for 2 years, you're back of the grid, and whereby he joined, was it 1997, right? Whereby he joined Ferrari, and joining
96.
oh, sorry, yeah, 96. Then now at Ferrari for 4 years not winning anything. Sorry, 3 years not winning anything. Then you start to win in 2000 and dominating, as Connor said, 48 races in between and having a win rate of about 54. But what really what I really loved about him, as a person, was that even when he retired, he still was connected to Ferrari, advising, having an advisory role, giving advice, and even in 2009, whereby Ross Brawn contacted him to say, what, like, we're a brand new team, please do come. And imagine just come, it just shows you what type of a person he was. So he's just second to none, really, to be honest. And especially, as you said, Stephen, that the amount of records that he broke within that 20 season stint that he had, things you love to see, to be honest. I respect him for that.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the stuff that he's achieved is just
Mind
it's
blowing.
mind-boggling to know that he created that much, and been able to succeed that much as well. So I'm just trying to have a look at some of it. I'm just trying to look. So throughout his career, for his ability noted throughout his career to produce slaps at crucial moments in a race and to push the car to the very limit, sustained periods. I mean, Schumacher is often credited with popularizing Formula One in Germany, where it was formerly considered a fringe sport. So, it's just what he inspired in Germany is the fact that he'd been able to. I mean, the early years. This was the early years I wanted to know about. He'd done junior kart championship in Germany, right? Participated in Formula Ford, and it was actually Mercedes junior program that was funding his sort of introduction into the sport. Most of Schumacher's contemporaries were competing in Formula 3000 on the way to Formula One. Webber advised Schumacher that being exposed to professional press conferences and driving powerful cars in the cities would help his career. So that those just I mean, he's like early years already, and you could tell when they put him in the sports car for Mercedes for one time, because he used to drive the sports car for Mercedes for coming into Formula One. They nearly immediately knew, right? Immediately, that once they put him in, they were saving more fuel but going faster, right? And he was demanding more already from the team, so you could tell that he was already fitting as a perfect Formula One driver and could take it to that level. And that's where people think that immediately saw that we're going to have to up our game because he's going to take it and take this by storm. And he did. And as much as anyone tried to throw the gauntlet at him, I mean, Kimi Raikkonen came close in 2003 with Montoya. I think that's the closest they ever came to try and taking the title from him in that run. No one can seem to be able to do it until they had their problems in 2005 with
Alonso.
With Alonso, with the tire. No, it was mainly with the Bridgestone tires. To be honest, the tires were not quick enough, and that's why they only been able to win one Grand Prix that season. So, it's why I grew up as a Schumacher fan, and I don't know. Maybe if he continued into 2007, I don't know if Hamilton came in, if I would be supporting Hamilton now. But this is the thing, and people now they will look at it. People are now looking at this and they're comparing it to what Hamilton's achieved already in the sport. So it's a major debate at the minute. Who is the better? Who is better? Is Schumacher better than Hamilton? Is Hamilton better than Schumacher?
I think part of me also wants to just have everybody take a second. It's like the Messi Ronaldo debate. I wish everybody would kind of take a second and just fully embrace how good both of them are, just period, by themselves. Don't even compare them. Don't talk about them together and who's better. Just embrace the fact that these are two of the greatest drivers to ever live. I'm not a huge fan of Hamilton. I'll say that out loud with my chest. But I have to respect the hell out of him as a driver, because even though he has been in this Mercedes, has been a huge, had huge advantages at some points of his career with them. even when he was back with McLaren, he had no right to do what he did in that McLaren car. And
not in the first season, he didn't.
No, what he did in that McLaren car, he had no right to do, especially in that first season. So for him, I have to respect him as a driver, knowing that it's not because he has that Mercedes that he's been like he is. It's kind of like the Schumacher story where he started at Bennington, made it into this big team like Hamilton did with McLaren, bringing them back onto the scene to being a big team, and then moved on to Mercedes.
On Twitter, I have sent you the link, mate. I sent it twice, so carry on.
But I just, I have to respect the fact that, Hamilton does have a really good car. He's had that Mercedes car, which has dominated the field for years. But it's not only that. We see with Valtteri Bottas has the same car but struggles and has not had nearly the results that Hamilton has. So you have to really just take a step back and go, no matter if you are a Mercedes fan or not, and I'm not, you have to go, Hamilton's a hell of a race driver.
Yeah,
He's a hell of a talent, and he has earned what he's won. Now, do I think he's better than Schumacher? No, I think Schumacher is in a class of his own, and I honestly think Senna and Prost are in a class of their own as well. But I do think that Hamilton deserves a hell of a lot of respect for how good of a driver he is, and that he's earned every single achievement he's had in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I've seen the two and I compare the two, I see a very lot of similarities. And it's so hard to tell which one's the better. And I mean, for me, I've seen qualities in Hamilton that you could see in Schumacher. And being at the crucial moments, being able to push beyond limits. And beyond limits. Even like Senna in qualifying, be able to push beyond limits of the car. Being able to win in cars that aren't designed to win races, for example. 2009 was a great one, right? The car, halfway through the season, he said he needed a new car, not a new package, a new car. The car was dreadful. And yet, he still managed to get 2 Grand Prix wins out of it. So, that's why for me, people could say I'm biased, but then I was also a Schumacher fan, so I could be biased either way. So I could say Schumacher's better, or I could say Hamilton's better. But it's one of those. Just to celebrate the fact we've got 2 great drivers that are 7 times world champions, and have had God knows how many wins. Whoever's statistically better, right? And statistics do say that Hamilton is better. But that's statistics, and not everything's done on statistics. Sometimes you just see like a driver and you see how good he is. I mean, look how. Look at Senna. Would have Senna stopped him? I think Senna would have stopped him. I think Senna would have stopped him in '94, maybe in '95. Yeah. But we'll never know that. But for me, there's so many things I see with Hamilton that I see in so many other drivers, and it's all put into one. Right? The sort of intelligence of Prost, the outright speed of Senna or Schumacher. That's why, for me, I'd say Hamilton is, but yeah, it's so hard to tell. And I think even if Hamilton did win it this year, it's still up for debate. I think this debate will just carry on and carry on and carry on.
I think it's always up for debate. It's never something that goes away. It's like the debate in soccer with Pele versus Maradona versus Ronaldo, and all the greats throughout the years. They all lived in different eras with different lengths of the seasons, different amounts of season they played, different levels of competition. You can go back to Pele playing against some of the greatest to ever live at their positions that he was going up against in his time. But then you can also look during the Ronaldo Messi time and see like the players like Lewandowski that they've played against. I think the one thing that Hamilton shares with Schumacher, and annoys the living hell out of me, of course, being a non-Mercedes fan, is Hamilton's innate ability, like he did and Azerbaijan this last weekend to just be able to mold and shape not only his strategy but how his car looked to just perfectly get exactly what he needed.
Yeah, and
Because
be able
he's
to
able to
push, and be able to push the car that probably wasn't cut. Be able to extract the absolute max of them of it to be able to just keep up with the Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean,
Then that weekend.
he was awful all full practices, FP 1, 2, and 3. Mercedes
Yeah.
was dreadful. And in qualifying, he goes, I'm going to tweak this, this, and this, and I'm going to go second. And then I'm going to go to the race. And
But if you
I
watch
didn't have an
Singapore
accident, I would be first.
2018, if you want to look at 2018, and by the way, big up Turf Morehouse TV. Schumacher is a goat. Hope he's on the mend. We all think he's in a fucking go mode, for fuck's sake. He's fine. He's partly his brain's partly damaged, but they just keep everything private. So they have his private life and his public life in two separate ways, and he doesn't like doing interviews or anything after. He's not done anything like that after because he wants to keep that persona of him being a strong figure that's unbeatable. So please, guys, show the channel some love, like and subscribe. See the dessert. Thank you very much, mate. Pleasure, and I will try and get on your channel at some point. Right, we'll organise something definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's like we're seeing. Like I said, we're seeing Singapore 2018. Like they were they nearly got knocked out in Q1, and they were struggling to everyone expected them to be fifth or sixth. That's how bad the Mercedes was around Singapore. Always has been.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he comes out with that lap time, and everyone's like, "What? How's he done that?" Even the team that got back, they're like, "How's he done that? That's not even on the data. None of the data thought he could do that." And he's just come out with his lap time, and it just, if you watch it back, it's just so perfect. It's just, there's nothing wrong with it. It's easy, and that's I think, and you see that with Schumacher as well. So many times you've been able to come out and just extract that tiny little bit extra he needs to put it on pole to get that fastest lap in. So, I mean, John, what do you say? I mean, it's you see it so many times with Hamilton. You've seen it so many times with Schumacher as well.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, for me, okay, maybe just to first touch
I know it's
upon
not for you as a Red Bull fan.
Of course, yeah. But you know what? You should just give credit where it's due. I'm happy that Connor talked about Baku over the weekend. The past weekend. Whereby Mercedes were really struggling both in practice 1, 2, and 3. And I'm happy that you touched upon it, Connor, because a lot of people were saying, yeah, of course, Lewis, got initially he got a good result in quali, because Bottas, the disadvantage is Bottas is that he had a larger rear wing, and if you have a larger rear wing, compared to Lewis and everyone, it would be a disadvantage to you on the long straight, especially you just had to, right?
Oh, by the way, no. By the way, you're gonna hate Schumacher even more, because if you weren't for Schumacher, Mercedes wouldn't be where they are right now, man.
I remember 2010, right?
2012, and then he moved away, and guess who took the place?
Come on, mate. Come on.
It was funny is that when Schumacher retired, Kimi Raikkonen went from McLaren to Ferrari.
Yeah, very
and I
much.
thought,
Yeah,
I'm going to support Ferrari. I'm going to support Raikkonen. And then I got the news: Hamilton's taken his spot. I'm like, who there? I was like, I've seen this guy in the GP2. He's good.
Yeah, very good.
But when I saw him around turn one, I went, Yeah, mate. I'll have some of this.
I
I didn't think it's
remember, mate.
this good, but I thought it'd be good.
It's very good. Yeah, and no
Legendary
regrets,
Racing,
right?
the test driver at the time, he saw his ever first run in the McLaren, and he went, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. It's amazing, mate. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love the pair of them. They've really helped us big time.
Don't worry.
We could have loaned him out. We could have loaned him out of Red Bull, but I thought, no,
Yeah,
you're
he's
doing
very
well with
good.
Vettel, you see. So we didn't need. Should have invested in 2014, mate, shouldn't you?
I know, mate. Come on, don't get me started, mate.
Hang on. I wish I knew him in 2014. He'd done 3 laps and he'd get out the pit lane and hit the practice. Well, that's going well, isn't it? I can imagine it. Like 5 seconds, these world champions that back in the grid in Australia. I'm like, then he gets third place and it gets taken off because they've been using too much fuel.
Oh yes, I remember. It's made. Yeah, true.
I'm just waiting for the next time. I'm waiting for the one time we see. I'm waiting for it to happen because I know it's going to happen sometime, and it's going to be the greatest thing ever. It's for a driver to finish in first and have it happen. What happened in F2 last year, where he finishes, doesn't have enough fuel left. Fuck off then.
And like speaking of fuel, it got me worried.
It was so. It would have been even more gutting if Hamilton made that mistake and then Perez ran out of fuel towards the
Imagine, yes, imagine,
I
was really afraid, mate. I was really afraid.
The fact that you see Perez, they go, great job. Stop the car. I'm like,
yeah, he's literally this far away from one of that fuel.
You have the exit of the pit lane.
No, could you imagine as he's getting towards the pit lane, right, and he's coming down that turn 3 full fat.
Oh yes.
All of a sudden, blip, 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 blip. No, come on, it's just there. Come on.
He got me worried, mate.
Stop pushing the car like
come on,
the pit wall, all these mechanics in the pit wall said, "Do you want iron, mate?" Did anyone see
got me worried. Yeah.
You see Miss Schumacher at the end?
Yeah.
With Mazepin. You see it? It's like, he nearly took him out on the last lap.
I remember.
I still just love my favorite Mazepin moment from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix was just the Mazepin fans.
Oh yes, the fan. Yes.
I love the fans chanting in the balcony at Mazepin as he goes through, and then he goes off and goes into the runoff, and you just see them start cheering. They absolutely hate him, and they were hoping that he'd spin out or do something stupid. They're like, "Hey, what a surprise!"
You know what? Yeah, you can say that again. I'm sure that small clip, it's going to be used as a meme, by a lot of people, especially if
No.
What?
You know when it cut into Stroll? You know when it cut to Stroll in the Monaco Grand Prix? So what they should have done? It's just a meme. It's a meme. Is like Hamilton got down on the inside either, and we got a replay of Lance Stroll, right, coming around the swimming pool section. As he's about to lock up, straight on. He's like, okay, yeah. I think I've already done Jackie Stewart as well, mate. You're running out, man. You're way behind. Way behind.
I still love. I love Mazepin. I don't love Mazepin. I mean, I've talked about Mazepin.
You got me worried, mate. You got me worried.
What makes me laugh is just how shit he is at being a blue marker.
Yeah, very.
It's just terrible ability at knowing how. Just let them by, dude. It's not that hard. I remember he was going through the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Hamilton passed him, and he goes through 4.
To his dad, he said, "Look at this prick I've got as a teammate. How am I supposed to get a fucking competition from him?
Dad,
I've got a race against.
Dad, how'd you take that hill?
Yeah.
How'd you take the hill without getting any blame for it? I need to do it. No, but he's going through, and Hamilton needs to pass him, and they're going, I remember the commentators even said, well, if he goes through one more corner and hadn't let him by, then I bet Hamilton would have been on the radio being pissed. I'm like, no shit. He's
Yeah.
Can you imagine it? Just like Hamilton said, just get this wanker out of my way, please.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like, it's all the time. Just get this. Why are you even here? Get out of here. Then again, I'm like that. What's happened, mate? Oh, yeah, bye. Yeah.
Come on, mate. What are you saying?
I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for Mazepin to be such.
How much has Max Verstappen got to pay for that accident, by the way? How many fans?
Oh, probably a fair bit. But I'm waiting for Mazepin, the fucking wanker, to fucking crash somebody out being a blue marker. I'm waiting for it. And I know it's not.
I don't really want anyone to crash out.
It's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time before he.
Yeah, a matter of time, definitely.
He'll take somebody into the corner and then he'll blow up their freaking tire because he turns in trying to stay ahead of him for one more corner.
I can make a point here. Verstappen ain't a legend yet.
Oh, he's not even close.
No, not yet.
He's won
the only driver I would say right now that I would put in possible legend status when he retires is Sebastian Vettel.
Did he win a Grand Prix?
I'd say Sebastian Vettel would be who I'd put close to him, not close to Hamilton, but in that kind of legend status for when he retires. I mean, winning four world championships with Red Bull
straight years,
and then now being able to be with the Aston Martin team and putting up amazing results after it.
Yeah,
coming out of Ferrari, who treated him like dog shit, giving one of the worst cars.
Yeah,
true.
I said 9 wins. I do apologize. I missed by a third. He's 12.
But no, I think Sebastian Vettel definitely deserves a possible, as a possible legend of the game and a definite Hall of Famer once he finally retires and goes away from the sport. I don't think he'll ever leave the sport. I think he'll be a lot like Rosberg, who
like
now
Kimi, right?
I think he'll be like Kimi. He'll be around for a while, and then when he finally does leave, he'll be like Rosberg is right now, where he does the videos on YouTube where he'll actually go through each corner and tell you exactly how the race is supposed to go. And
yes, exactly.
That's the thing. Is like with Schumacher as well, is that you could go down to details, fine details, like Senna.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Great drivers like Hamilton, Schumacher, Senna. The reason I put those in their own little bracket, even Senna, is because they go into fine details. Hamilton can tell you exactly what's going wrong, right? This is why I love when Christian.
Yeah, he sees the wrong switch.
This is why I love when Christian Horner said I love how he's got a friggin' technical degree. Yeah, he fucking does, mate. That's why fucking Mr. Mercedes is where they're at now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people call him his own racing engineer.
It's very weird how McLaren then finally left and all of a sudden they turned to shit.
Oh yes, exactly. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah,
he's his own racing engineer half the time.
Christian Horner, shut your mouth, right?
I mean, the only problem he's had is the fact that he needs to watch his fingers hitting buttons when he's going into turn one. But I guess we've moved on from that.
Thank you, Connor, for that.
It could be worse, mate. Right? It could be in a wall down the final straight with about 6 laps to go.
That's true. I think it truly does show. I think the great racers, like you said, they are their own race engineers most of the time, where they're able to go into finite details on, and it's something I saw. I don't remember which race it was, but I remember watching it, and it was the one where the track limits ended up being like this thing that literally everybody kept on getting their times deleted because they kept on going out of track limits at turn 4.
Wasn't it Bahrain? Or
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was. No, I think no.
Imola. It was Imola.
Imola. But no, I do remember Bahrain as well because Max Verstappen tried to take the lead, didn't he?
Yeah, because I remember Norris had either pulled or he was going to be on the front row. And he had the time deleted.
But not notice that part is about a bounce. You're not allowed to go overtaking around there.
And you notice that Hamilton used that section the entire race.
No, he didn't. He didn't run all 4 tires off the road. Get out of it. Don't
he
start that.
Now you can't do it anymore.
No.
The only reason that Verstappen got had to give back the places because Hamilton had abused using that corner so much that
Oh,
they were
yes.
finally, you
Oh,
can't
yes.
use
On
that
Bahrain.
anymore.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. That was Bahrain. I remember. The first race.
How does he not get a penalty then? How does he not get like a fucking
Because
black
they decided to wait until Hamilton had stopped had been able to catch up. Because the only reason he was able to catch up was abusing that turn. He abused that turn so that he could catch
Yeah,
up.
very much. Very much. Yeah.
Now we'll make that
very.
turn illegal.
This was
That
supposed
was
to be a
great.
Schumacher, but like which sports is turned into a car crash.
Okay, but
Sorry,
I'll get back to my point because it's a point, actually giving Hamilton props, which I don't.
Yeah.
But you can see when he was in qualifying, I remember they did like an analysis of Verstappen. Bottas versus Hamilton's laps, and it wasn't even just their laps; it was their turns and where when they broke. And you can see that Hamilton breaks just slightly differently from Bottas in each corner, but that is what gets him that little extra split seconds that get him the better time in the same exact car. And that's the finite detail that he's able to do. He's able to go, I'm going to brake just this maybe 10 feet later, and it's going to give me this much better of a acceleration coming out of the turn.
But that's not the thing. And I think that's with Schumacher as well, and that's why it was so good. Is that they like with Hamilton is that he was always not really good. His early career, he was struggling with tires, right? And gradually as it came on, and this is the thing that Verstappen will learn is gradually how he does with tires. Like you saw it in Spain, he couldn't manage his tires very well compared to Hamilton, right? And Hamilton has managed to develop with these tires now a way of driving that gets, no matter who he's playing against, whether it's Perez, who's been really good at tyres anyway, he'd always be able to get the most out of the tyre.
I'm hoping Norris is able to develop the same thing. I want Norris to take over.
I mean, Monaco 2019, those tires are supposed to last 50 laps. He's done 67, right? He manages to be able to just create a one-stop
system.
Mexico. Mexico 2019 is Mexico 2019. That was a freaking idiot.
No, we're talking of 2020, mate. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, and now they're moaning because their limbo wings are getting protested. Well, it's payback, isn't it?
Steven, I gotta have some
bitch.
Hey,
before we want to start this moaning campaign, like who is the one moaning this now?
I'm not moaning. I'm a Norris fan. I'm doing absolutely brilliant right now.
I'm not allowed to use Rich when it comes to a game now. Right? I can't use Rich power mode. Right? I've got to have a lean power mode only in a safety car period to save my fuel. Right? Because someone decided, I ain't got a party mode.
I know where you're getting it.
Well, develop your own engine then, you idiot. God's sake. Right? Jesus. Right? Everything he doesn't get, he's like, oh, well, that's not fair.
Life's not fucking fair. Shit happens.
Come on, mate.
No. When he develops something, everyone's got to go with it. When it comes the other way, he's like, no, it's not fair. Instead of developing one, I want you banned.
Make a better car. You either life is hard. You either bend over and take it up the butt, or you turn around and punch life square in the mouth and you take it back.
Yeah, why can't you make a better car?
And that's what Red Bull's done. And now Mercedes has decided to bitch about Red Bull all season.
No, it's about time we did it back. It's about time we did it back. It's payback's a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, because Toto Wolff's a freaking whining crybaby, but that's none of my business.
Don't worry, the clown will get involved. The clown will do the same. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, I never said Zach Brown doesn't even know how to freaking speak Italian. So I mean, I don't think he tries to get involved in too much of the other affairs of the teams. He just kind of
actually McLaren enjoyed their Mercedes in the protest. Actually,
the thing is, I'm not exactly going to. I feel like most teams they'll just look at the big two and kind of just be like, "This is fun. Should we join in? Yeah, let's go join in." That happened last year with the whole Racing Point pink Mercedes. And they're like, "Should we go in?"
Did you think they will Mercedes? Because I know Red Bull because like they used to be with Renault, but unfortunately they run out of customers because their engines were shit.
I love the new Mercedes.
The only team they've got is Toro
That's
Rosso.
big time.
I love the new Mercedes engine.
Where Mercedes has got Williams, like Aston Martin, McLaren. Who else have they got? I think that's it, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. The McLaren, the fact that McLaren,
so all of them can jump on the gun and go, that's not fair.
McLaren was obviously going to.
McLaren's been a lot better than they were last year with this new Mercedes power unit. When we announced that we were having a Mercedes power unit, and I saw the new car, I could see the little changes we made along with the new power unit. I'm like, this car is going to be this car is going to be dynamite, and Norris is just taking it to heights that I didn't even think was possible.
What's the difference?
Thanks to Mercedes.
I don't know whether the other panelists are like this. Is that the power unit with great is who's who there's that power unit with Mercedes, the turbine and compressor and the turbo is all split apart, so it creates less turbo lag and other benefits as well to make it so much better. You actually watch I might send you a link of a video that I've got saved on YouTube a bit of how to explain it for 2014. Which is why we were 3 seconds ahead and this stock were fucking nowhere.
I respectfully no comment. I'm a McLaren fan. I will cede out of this argument and say no comment. I'm McLaren, so I'm going to stay away. I want to keep my power unit. I want to keep my power unit. Please don't involve me.
Only question I have for you: who is better in the rain? Not Verstappen, right? I'm not talking about anyone.
I think one of the best drivers in the rain, I think, is Checo.
Checo, thank you so much.
Fantastic in the rain.
Without doubt.
I think he's asking Schumacher or Hamilton in the rain.
Oh, I think
Schumacher.
Schumacher, I think, is just incredible in the rain. He literally there's a reason why he was known as a dominator of the rain. Like, he could anytime it rained, he just seemed to be able to be faster than everybody else and be able to do things that not really anybody else was doing.
Yeah.
Senna
was great. Senna was amazing. But I think Schumacher. When you get a nickname like he did of his ability to compete in the rain, I think you just have to really just bow down to just how great he was.
1984.
Yeah, I think.
What about Silverstone 2008?
Oh, there's definitely multiple occasions you can look through the history books of great drives in the rain. I just think Schumacher was able to do it.
But here's the thing as well, is that another thing with details. Hamilton 2015 Silverstone, right? He pitted a lap earlier than everyone else. He was the only one to pit on that lap because he felt something on he felt rain on his visor. Right? Perfect lap.
I still love last year him blowing out his back two tires and still finding a way to fucking beat Verstappen. That was hilarious. I was dying.
What's that?
As a non-Red Bull or Mercedes fan, I was absolutely losing my shit laughing when I saw that Red Bull couldn't even catch up to Mercedes having two blown out tires.
Oh, yeah. He had a blown up tire for half a lap and
he still couldn't get caught.
Now we're giving Steven something to laugh at, man.
He's finished all 3 wheels and you're like, come on.
Come on, man.
I know, mate. I know.
It's because he didn't get a extra party mode.
But we,
we heated up his front 2 tires, and that's why we didn't go fast.
Anyway, I'm gonna have to end it there because I've got to jump on to Big Bill straight away. But make sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Thanks for John as usual, and Connor as well. We'll be back tomorrow with the Checkered Flag show before the Euros tomorrow. So make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye. And Red Bull shit.